Hi everybody. Let's talk a little bit about our journal importance of analysis assignment. And it's going to be a graded assignment for this module. And it kind of builds off of our writing notes activity from our last module. Okay, we have talked a little bit this week about the importance of active reading, doing those annotations that I really like, but also the pre-reading activities, the summarizing, the talking it out with people, whichever active reading you've done, so that we can start our analysis of these awesome essays that we're looking at. And I want to remind you guys that it's very important that you continue to reread your essays throughout the term. Sometimes when we read something at the start of a project, we get complacent with it almost, and we don't go back and check our notes, we don't check our annotations, we don't ever talk about it again. And doing that is going to ultimately limit our success with our critical analysis. So, once or twice a week, reread that essay, reread your notes on it, and stay fresh and continue to think critically about the essay itself as well as your observations and responses to it. Okay, this is going to be a journal assignment, and I'll remind you guys again, some of the work that we do in MindEdge needs to be transferred to a Word document, there's my pen, and uploaded in Blackboard. If you only do this assignment in MindEdge, I will not be able to grade it, and it's going to give you some frustration and set back our success just a little bit. So make sure that you take your notes and then put all of that into a properly formatted Word document and then upload it into Blackboard. To prep for this assignment, we want to reread our selected article, as I said, as well as your notes that you submitted for Module 1. And then you can either actually take your notes in the MindEdge notebook, and here you can take them, like I did, on a piece of paper, and then type them into a Word document. Just make sure that you get them into a Word document and upload them into Blackboard so I can take a look at it and support your success. What we want you to do is answer the following 3 sets of questions, okay? Essentially, you're going to be creating an essay here with your journal, and it's a little informal, so I don't want you to stress out about it. Okay, but we do want to practice proper essay format as well as proper paragraph development, okay? So we're going to want to have those topic sentences and supporting sentences in our paragraphs, as well as good concluding and concluding sentences. And I can include an additional resource in the announcement to help you with paragraph development as well. We have a lot of resources this midweek announcement, but that's all there to support your success. Okay, so what are these questions that we're talking about? We want to, first of all, think about who our audience is, who will be reading your critical analysis essay. Who's your audience? Why are they interested? What do they look like? It's me. I'm your instructor, so I'll be reading it, but it's not just me. It's not just your peers. Who else would benefit from reading your article? I'm doing the McFadden article, right? So who would be interested in reading an essay about the McFadden article? Could it be somebody, for instance, who studies genderized terms? Maybe it's somebody who's a sociology fan. Who else could benefit from reading your essay, your critical analysis of the essay? And that's your audience. And we do have some extra resources on our announcement page to support developing who your audience is. So to answer this question, tell us who your audience is, describe them, and explain how they would benefit from any insights produced from your analysis of this article. What are they essentially going to get from it? Okay? Second set of questions / paragraph. Why is your analysis so important for your selected reading, and how will it help your audience understand the author's goal in a clearer, more captivating way? Essentially, what is the benefit here? What will your audience get out of reading your critical analysis of this essay? Again, I'm doing the McFadden one that was talking about the unnecessary prevalence, I guess, of gender-neutral terms in our society. So, and my analysis of that is that her use of aggressive tones kind of limits understanding of her topic. So what would my audience get from me doing a critical analysis of her aggressive language? Well, maybe they'll get another perspective on the concept of gender-neutral terms. Maybe they'll be better prepared to read the McFadden piece and understand it, knowing that she tends to use biased language. Ask yourself questions about your article and your observations, and kind of ask yourself, why would and what and how would somebody benefit from listening to your analysis of that? Okay, and if you're not sure how to answer that question, let me know, and I'll be happy to clarify. So the second question is, why is it important for your analysis, and how is it going to benefit your audience in order to understand that article in a more clear and captivating way? Okay. The third set of questions / paragraph, after you read your article again and those notes from Module 1, what do you believe your goal is here in analyzing that selected article? What is your purpose? What are you trying to get your audience to understand? And will you provide any additional context to help your audience understand the importance of the author's goal? For instance, in my McFadden example, my goal is to get my audience to understand that McFadden uses aggressive language to get her point across, and in doing so fails to get her point across because the audience is just shocked at her disregard for gender-neutral terms and her own use of very aggressive terms in describing the gender-neutral terms. So my goal is to say, hey, McFadden is kind of ineffective as a writer because she's too busy trying to get an emotional reaction out of you. So what kind of context would I need to provide to support that? Well, for one, the first thing I should probably say is that the McFadden article is almost, if not quite, 30 years old. So what is your point? Why are you writing this critical analysis? What do you want your audience to get from your analysis of that article that you are reviewing? Okay? And again, if you're not sure how to answer these questions, let me know and I'll be happy to kind of walk you through it. Okay? So what we're looking to have after doing this journal is a 3-paragraph essay of sorts with 3 fully completed paragraphs. We want to aim for 5 to 8 sentences each, fully answering these questions. Let's see if we can take a look at the rubric here real quick. Alright. And remember with our rubrics that they tell you kind of almost exactly what it is that we're looking at and how I'm going to assess your paper. So I want to take a look at the critical elements here. I'm not going to read through what it takes to get the exemplary, proficient, needs improvement, not evident, because you guys can read through that on your own, but if you have questions, let me know. I want to focus on the critical elements for a second, okay? And I got to review my notes, because that's why we write notes, right? Okay. For your audience, that's that first question, are you clearly stating who your audience is, and are you kind of describing how and why you think they are your audience? Remember, ask yourself who's going to benefit from reading your analysis, tell me who that is, and tell me why you think that that's your audience. Benefit of analysis, that's that second set of questions that we talked about. Do you fully explain to us why your audience is going to benefit from the analysis? How is your analysis going to help them better understand what the article is about? Okay, so kind of explain the benefits, and again, if you have questions, let me know. And then the next critical element here we're talking about is your goal with your analysis. What are you hoping to get across to your audience? What is your purpose here? And how are you going to what context are you going to give to help your audience understand that goal? Then I want to mention length. Remember, we mentioned a couple times we want this to be 3 full paragraphs. I'm sorry if you hear that. Somebody's mowing my lawn, apparently. Cool. We want 3 fully formatted paragraphs. So we need to have a topic sentence, which introduces the main point of that paragraph, and then a couple supporting sentences explaining your topic sentence, and then a nice concluding sentence too. And again, if you're not quite sure how to do proper paragraphs, let me know, or you can connect with the SNHU online writing center as well. And again, I'm going to add another reference to our announcement to kind of give you some direction on paragraph development too. So make sure we have 3 fully formatted paragraphs, and then articulation of response. Is it kind of grammar free and have good organization? We're not looking for 100% perfect here, but do your best. Let's try and get some of those grammar issues under control, and if you have any questions with that, do let me know. And again, I want to remind you that we want to make sure that we do transfer this, if we use the notes or if we do it on paper, into a Word document. Make sure that it's properly formatted. I have some resources on the announcement page that show you how to properly format a Word document into an essay. And then make sure that you upload it on Blackboard. Okay, now let me know if you have any questions. I know we kind of went over a lot here. I'm here to support you every step of the way, so feel free to call, email, text me, or if you want, if you have a question that could benefit the entire class, we can post it on our general discussion forum too. All right, good luck. You got this.